Kia ora everyone, hi there mai. Thank you for joining today's Māori and Pasifika Virtual Careers Fair. It's actually the first of its kind in New Zealand, so I don't know about anyone else, but I'm super excited for this event today. For context, my name's Taylor. I work here at Prossel and we'll be hosting the Māori and Pasifika panel session today. Before we get started though, I'd like to introduce Hare from Unitec to perform a karakia. Hare, over to you, mate.
Kia ora tātou, tihe Māori ora. Manawa mai te Māori nuku, manawa mai te Māori rangi. Ko te Māori kei au, he Māori tipua. Ka pakaru mai te pō, tau mai te Māori, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. Kia tātou katoa, ko tēnei te mihi tuatai ki tō tātou ne mate nui te rangi, kei aia ngā mea katoa, ke whakapainga tōna ingoa i ngā wā katoa, katahi. Ia tātou tini mate putono i te motu, o rātou ko tāongia i te moho aitua, haere ngā mate, haere, haere, kārua. Ki te kaupu kei mui i tātou. No hoanau i runga taumata kōrero ngā taumata rau o ngā ti whātua he. Ruarangi te maunga e karanga ana ke koutou, putono i te motu, whānui, e aro mai ki tēnei ahutanga hau o whakaritenga, e hononga tahi, i raro i te whakaaturanga, umanga, mō Māori Pasifika, me ngā tini kamupene whiwhinga mai. Nā reira tēnei te mihi mai hoa ki a koutou, e aro mai ana, Māori ora ki a koutou, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai tātou.
Kia ora Hare, thank you for the karakia.
Thank you.
Awesome. For a bit of context to introduce everyone, today we will be hearing from May Wright from the Ministry of Education, Kiriana Wairu Hunter from Fulton Hogan. We've got Aotearoa Tusipipa Lafila from Xero and Mōrua Tariwiti from TupuToa. All of which will be discussing everything you need to know about finding and applying for jobs as a Māori and Pasifika student here in Aotearoa. I've prepared a few questions for the session to ask panelists. However, it's worth mentioning that if any of you students have any questions throughout the session, use the chat feature within Zoom and we will look to answer some of the questions throughout the session or dedicate a bit of a Q&A time towards the end. So without further ado, I might hand over to you first, May, to introduce yourself and what your organisation does. Over to you.
Also, I'm just going to move myself to a better lighting, but talo falava everyone. My name is May. I want to introduce myself Samoan. A lot of May, a lot of Tamai, Samai, o le swali ilukuano, na le visa le moa. A lot of Tinai, Sangumai, Sale Aula, Tuanai and Salomono, and I come from Petone. So that's who I am. I am currently working as an assistant advisor inclusion at the Ministry of Education and now HR team. And I'm actually really looking forward to being in this panel today. So that's all, Taylor.
Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora.
Kia ora, May. Kiriana, over to you to introduce yourself and your organisation.
Tēnā tātou katoa, I te taha o sōku māma, ko maunga kāhia te maunga, ko whangawihi te awa, ko kurahaupo te waka, ko rongo mai wahine te iwi, ko ngaitū te hapu, ko tōhuru te marae, ko hini te rongo te whare. I te taha o sōku pāpā, ko korokoro te maunga, ko korokoro te awa, ko tokomaru te waka, ko tiatiawa te iwi, ko Ngāti tāwhirikura me Ngāti te whiti ngā hapu, ko Pukeariki te marae, ko te tato te pō te whare, ko te puni te rangatira, ko Kiriana te kuingoa. Kia ora everyone, I work for, kia ora. I'm a graduate at Fulton Hogan in my second year. I studied in Petone as well, down at Welltech for 2 years, and I graduated with a diploma with Austin. So everything from under the ground papatuanaku to everything you see above, so bridges and even things like quarries, asphalt plants, everything, yeah. But yeah, that's us.
Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora.
Kia ora, kia ora. Thank you. I might hand to Aotearoa next for a wee introduction to yourself and your organisation.
Please walk whaftai lea wanoa, whātaro whātutopa ia matau mamalu le nei tai au, mo lava o te si le whaftai mani vinga le toa, a walonga angalei, malonga wha maongi tātou tangata. Tālofa lava, malo ni, malo le lei, and warm. Pacific greetings to you all. My name is Aotearoa, Tusi Pepa, Umanga Lafaele, Ngamala Ulu. I come from, so my father is from Whongapoa in Whaaseleleanga in Savai, and my beautiful mum is from Numuenga in Lefanga in Olu. Even though I hail from the beautiful islands of Samoa, I am born and bred in a place of champions. Cannons Creek, Aotearoa. Let's go. 5024, happy all day, every day is the motto we like to share down in the valley.
Awesome.
Lovely. Yes, I work at what's it called? I'm a developer evangelist here at Xero. I studied at AUT and I studied computer science, and I look forward to hearing all your amazing questions, but also being part of this amazing talanoa. Whaftai.
Kia ora. Last but not least, Maruata, over to you to introduce yourself and your organisation.
Kia ora, tuatahi mā kuhe mihi kia koe matuahare, mo au karakia, mo au mihi hei whakatau i a tātou ki tēnei huihuinga. Ara hoki ki ngā wahine toa e noho mai ana ki runga i tēnei kaupapa. And to you, Taylor, thank you very much for facilitating today. So kia ora everybody, I'm Marua Tariwiti, he uri tēnei no ngā pui Ngāti Whātua, ara hoki mai te mautere o Hāmoa. So I'm very fortunate to be sitting on a panel with some amazing young wahine. I'm going to put the challenge out there early. Where are our tāne on this panel? But hei oi anō, we're here, and yeah, just really excited about this opportunity. So the mahi that I do, I'm the program manager here at TupuToa, and TupuToa, we pathway Māori and Pacific into corporate, government, and community opportunities within our partner network. So yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora, Taylor. Can I just add this? I'm just going to leave, but before I go, I want to mihi to mana wahine. When I thought about it, gosh, there's 4 women. Kei he te tāne, where's the males? Wonderful, wonderful e ngā tuahine, Aotearoa. Te whakarongo kia koutou. Lovely to listen to you. Good on you, Aotearoa. You're pushing that wonderful space down, we call that down at 40. Mihi atu kia koutou. All the very best, and I know for Māori and Pasifika, what a wonderful opportunity to have examples like you, to sharing, hey, allow our people to grow and to grow successfully. Tēnā koutou, kia ora mai tātou. Kia ora, Taylor.
Kia ora, Hare. Thank you very much.
I can go out.
Awesome. I saw a little early question there regarding the recording of this session. It is recorded, so we'll be able to send this link through to the students and everyone else who wants to link after this too. Just a bit of a disclaimer before we get right into it. Now, the first question I had prepared, I might ask, might hand this one to Aotearoa actually, in terms of how do you practice Māori and Pasifika diversity in your workplace? So what sort of framework and support do you offer?
Oh, please, thank you for your question. I think overall in tech, what's it called? There is still a need for these push of, you know, frameworks into this industry, but I know in Xero currently, funny joke, I've just started at Xero, so it's my 1 month in. Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Bless you, thank you. I think the framework currently that is like working in Xero at the moment, especially when I walked in like fresh into Xero, is we still have this kind of, well, I'll make it feel like this because, you know, framework's a fancy word, but there's always this this kind of comfort that I felt here in Xero where we pull out the whala and we still have to talk about it. And I know a lot of people want a massive change, but that's kind of what's happening here at Xero is that we have a lot of people and we have a lot of our Māori Pacific in these organizations, and we have to really just pull it out and just sit together and really figure out what we can do as a collective here at Xero. So that's kind of the stuff that I've been seeing here currently, because it is difficult to do it by yourself. And, you know, as our people, we like to do it as a collective and as a community. And currently, you know, there's still work to be done, but I know that for us, it's important that we do speak and we do talk, but then after the talk, we need to do the action as well. And, you know, you're wondering, oh, what action has been, you know, has started already in your, you know, 1 month here at Xero? And, you know, it's the small thing that's happened here. So like example, like Rotuman Language Week, you know, a lot of people didn't even know about our beautiful brothers and sisters in that beautiful island. And we've been, you know, influencing a lot of not only our own people, but the organization as a whole about this. You know, Rotuman language, we're doing stuff where we bring our own food, you know, and bring what our identity is through food, because, you know, we love to eat, don't we love to eat? And the key thing isn't just about the food, but it's the togetherness that we bring. So that's currently what's happening at Xero. More to come, but watch the space. Yes. Bless.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Aotearoa. That's so good to hear. And I might ask May the same question in terms of at Ministry of Education, what you do to practice Māori and Pasifika diversity in the workplace, and what sort of frameworks you have around this.
Awesome, thank you, Taylor. And that was awesome, Aotearoa. And I think that's the good thing about the places that we're in. We're always like fulfilling the whala, really looking forward to like having those conversations. But with the ministry, there's a big emphasis of diversity and inclusion, especially in our internship program. So this is the pathway that we get students in the ministry. And I'm going to just speak on that because that's something that I do as part of my work, and I can't touch on everything else that I'm not sure of. So there's a big emphasis in the diversity and inclusion space in there. So we look at, for example, our Māori Pacific students that come through. I don't want to go into it a bit more because it does come with the other questions that Taylor has for us, but we do have employee networks. So I do, as part of my role, it's even though I do work in early careers, I'm also in the diversity and inclusion team. So we do have monthly meetings with our employee networks that's in the ministry. So we've got our Māori network, we have the Pasifika network. So I've got those two, Rainbow Network, we have our Asian network. So these are sort of the people that are helping bring diversity in the ministry. We also have initiatives for our managers and staff, like inclusive leadership, cultural competencies, but also beyond diversity. I feel like this is parts of the ministry that we help give people more awareness, but also I guess a space for our Māori Pacific people just to be and be themselves. But I guess my experience ever since being in this role, we're always looking to improve. I can say within our last cohort we had of 27 interns, we had a good number of Māori Pacific students that came through. Like I said, we partner up with TupuToa and we also get 5 from them. I myself am the TupuToa alumni, so I also came through this program. But now we're in this space, it's sort of like, okay, what can I do to bring more of our people in this area? So that's me.
Cheers, May. Awesome answer. So good to hear what you're doing in this space as well. Thank you very much for that. And I might just ask Kiriana the question as well around how you practice, you know, Māori and Pasifika diversity at Fulton Hogan, and what sort of frameworks you have in place for that.
So like at Fulton Hogan, we haven't in the past maybe had, like I know that some other companies are ahead of where we are now, but we're I guess in the progress of like making a plan to build these sort of integrations into the business. So I'm part of a diversity group in my region in Wellington, and yesterday we had our meeting, and it's just about making like small changes within the business, and you know, just it's really hard to integrate like Māori culture. I'm trying to explain it, but it's really difficult. Like trying to get people to understand it as a whole and at a deeper level, not at the surface. So we're just trying to introduce things really slowly and get people warmed up. So we have a really good network group there, and yeah, and I think we've got a leadership program that we've got selected people from each region that meet up every few months and they go through that program. So yeah, it's really good to see that we're getting on board and we're finally putting something together.
Thank you, Kiriana. Exciting times for Fulton Hogan, 100%. That's so cool. I might switch up the questions here and ask Muruata, this one to you. In terms of sort of advice moving forward for these students, how can students showcase all of the positive cultural attributes in the application process?
Thank you, Taylor. I was going to flip this a little bit because I just thought the word showcase, I believe that our young people walk every day in the life of a Māori or Pacific student expecting to be showcased or being a certain way. And I think I'm going to flip it on the organization and ask them, what is it that they're wanting out of a candidate? And how are they presenting that opportunity to these young people? Because I believe that we don't have to showcase who we are. I think we are who we are, and being an organization that can allow for these young people to walk in, regardless if they're Māori or Pacific or from other ethnicities, that they're going to open their arms and fully embrace them and their culture and what they have to bring. So that's my answer to that question. And I believe that when organizations change up the way they do things, not just by allowing a process or a system to determine who comes through the door, but that they actually get an opportunity to either have a conversation with their applicants over the phone or even sit down and have a coffee with them to really get to know them. I think that can create huge change and impact, not only for the organization, but for the applicant as well, because it shows that they're invested in wanting to get to know them rather than reading them on a piece of paper. But at the same time, ensuring that potentially the person on the other side looks like them, or the panelists reflects who they're trying to engage with. So yeah.
Love that. Thanks for flipping the question, and awesome answer. Okay, well, in terms of, I do understand sometimes there's not an area in the application process to explain, your background and your diversity. So how can students make sure that it's known to the employer? I might ask this one to you, May. How can students make it known to the employer, about their, cultural background, and sort of explain that they are from, a diverse background and some of those positive attributes attached to that?
Thank you, Taylor. I think it does add up to what Maruata said before. With us, because a lot of applications come through and you have, it's paper. For me, the way we look at it is tell us your story, who you are. I've had some people, or even others who went and learnt their pepeha, but then with that, you've got to stay consistent through the whole application form. But in terms of telling your story, I think that's pretty much it on your paper, is don't be afraid to state who you are as a person. I don't care how many villages your dad has or your mom has, put it there. It tells the story of who you are and where you come from. And it also creates that connection between yourself and the people who are actually reviewing your application. I also found it, I'm doing real life experiences here because I feel like that's better than making things up. But with last year, we had a panel of, there's a mix of us, diverse people on the panel who actually go through the application form. Before that, we actually go through and prep our assessors to be like, hey, we have some Māori Pacific, we also have our people with disabilities who come through the stream, is really look in between those lines and be like, hey, and I think for all of us, if there's 700 applications that are coming through, you've got to make sure that your one stands out. You've got to make sure that the assessor remembers your story. I still remember some people's stories from now on, from last year, but it's only because I mentioned this is me, this is who I am. Because I would love to, imagine picturing yourself going through 100 applications. I would not want to really be like, my name is Varana. Oh my gosh, same thing. But, you know, just open with your peha, open with your own language, and that's something that I would really recommend you do. But make it consistent from if you get through the next stage, do the same. The next stage, do the same. Because if I see that you've done it from your paper application and if by video interviews you don't do that, I just know that you went and learned it just for the application. And obviously it's something that you just, you know, but yeah, that's my advice on that.
Okay, so that's great advice. Wow. Aotearoa, is there anything to add to that in terms of advice? I mean, pretty hard to top that from May, but is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
So it's really interesting because for tech, if I have to be very frank, is the key thing is, yes, you can bring your true self to work. Yes, you can, you know, represent who you are. But a big important thing for, especially for my background as a developer, is that you bring yourself, but you bring the skill. Because for technology, you can look around in a lot of tech companies, even at Xero, you have people, you know, just go all out with their outfits, you know, they're real extra, and that's cool, you know, that's great. But I feel like it's important that you bring your true self, but you make sure that you bring the skill too, because in tech, they will respect you because of your skill, but they will even respect you more because you bring a skill that comes with your own personality and who you are. So for me, when I rock up to these tech companies, you know, God, it's good that, you know, I'm a developer, but, you know, it's even better that you bring problem solving, but with your own flavor and also your own way of solving problems. So it's important, especially in tech, that when you do apply, you do know that you have to be very confident to know that you bring a very different way of solving problems. So you need to really trust in yourself as a person, but also the skill set that you have. Because I tell you now, Māori Pasifika, we have makua different ways to solve problems. So trust yourself because you are bomb.com. Bless.
So good, I love that. Just a little disclaimer, there's a few people in the chat having a bit of confusion around the questions. Feel free to just use the Q&A feature, and I will look out for some of those questions to ask throughout this session too. So just thought I'd throw that out there. So in the next question, I might hand this one to Kiriana. So what are some of the key attributes that Māori and Pasifika people should look for in an employer when they search for a job or looking for careers in a grad program?
Well, I just totally like what you guys just said. That's just amazing, because it's like so important that we need to know who we are as people and to be proud of that. So totally cool your kōrero there. Sorry, could you just repeat that question? Sorry, because I was just overwhelmed by the kōrero. I just wanted to praise that.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Yeah, no, 100%. So my question is, what are some of the key attributes that Māori and Pasifika people should look for in an employer when they are searching for jobs or looking for career opportunities?
Key attributes. One, being yourself. Two, the skills, like you said. But I think like I know that as Māori and Pasifika people, we just like shy away from doors that open for us. So putting yourself forward and like just put your hand up. Yeah, because I noticed like at Fulton Hogan, if you look at our positions at Fulton Hogan, all our Māori Pasifika are sitting at the bottom on the ground. So people are all on the ground or as supervisors or managers and stuff like that. But we want to see people working towards getting themselves to the top and becoming divisional managers, regional managers, executives. And I think the missing piece there is, for example, education. So I noticed that most of the boys on the ground, I love them. They're amazing people. They have all the skills, they have all the knowledge, but they don't have the paper. So I think just like taking that step forward to be able to educate yourself and moving that step higher. So I don't know, just and I can't believe, oh my gosh, sorry. Well, I think, now I'm lost. Sorry about that. Just like knowing who you are and just having the skills to be able to, sorry, I can't answer that question now. I'm just too nervous.
All good. No, all good. I actually saw a really good question come in from Maureen. Shout out to you, Maureen. I might ask you this one, Moruata. How is your organization connecting with Māori and Pasifika students outside of job applications and promoting opportunities?
Cool. I'm just going to jump on Kiriana's question as well. I think when young people are looking at different organizations for opportunities, I think they should be looking to see if their values align with that organization, if that organization has pathway opportunities for them, and what support are they offering to mentor or coach them into career progression. So that would be like one little hint on that in terms of TupuToa and Kiriana's answer. But what other mahi are we doing outside of our application process to engage with rangatahi? We're out on tertiary campuses. We just did, we were out at Polyfest as well for a couple of days. So the team, we all went out there just to be amongst our communities. We're looking at going to Te Matatini early next year just to have a presence there and get amongst them. We attend career fairs such as this, and whenever we're asked to participate on panels, we're doing that as well. Or if some of our alumni, and I'm grateful to be sitting on here with two of our alumni, invite us along to any of their events, we go along and participate. But we also engage with our whānau over in Australia. So we have career trackers who we work closely with through our sister program, and then also have a global network with some of our brothers and sisters over in America through Inroads. So yeah, that's a snapshot of what we do.
Awesome. Thank you very much. In the interest of time, I wish this session could go for another half an hour, but unfortunately that's not the case. So I might finish off with a question for all of you, just going around. I'll start with you, May. In one sentence, why should Māori and Pasifika students apply for your organization?
Number one, because they'll work with me. No, I feel like here at the ministry, a lot of the way that we've tried to shape the early career space is trying to get our people come work for the ministry so it reflects the people that we're serving. And I feel like that's an ongoing thing that we're trying to work on here as a whole, as a ministry. But I feel like even here, there's space for opportunity, but also space for you to grow. Because I feel like because it's a big as ministry, like if there's 4,000 of us, there are different roles that you can just swing yourself, like go from one. So I feel like you can start from one early in career role, and then you have other roles that you can get into in the ministry to try get to, because I feel like we need to be at the table with decisions of 8. And I feel like if you start like from step 1, you'll finally like get yourself up there. But first it's just like really taking this pathway, like this, the beginning of your pathway by the hand, and then trying to work yourself up. But that's why I think that everyone should come work the ministry. There's also, and I feel like, yes, it's everyone's come work for us, but it's our job too to come and do our job and bring you guys all in. So yeah, that's me.
There you go. Should apply for ministry education, everyone. Aotearoa, how about you? Why should Māori and Pasifika people, students apply to your organization?
Oh, bless you. What's it called? Come through, because for someone who's been here for a month And, you know, for me, the first starts are always, you know, the starting few days are always crucial for me. But a key thing is that here at Xero is that this is the first place that I've actually been that actually follow their values. And because at Xero, they have values which are like human, challenge, team, ownership, and beautiful. And to everyone, they might think, oh, okay, you and your tech values. But the thing is that I've noticed here is that there is values, and then the values are being like action through my team. So I work for ecosystem. And if you come to a team here in Xero, they will look after you. And the number one person that I always am very aware that needs to really look after me is my manager. So for me, when I started here, Xero really offered me the right support that I needed for me to really grow. And in that sense, it's you will get someone that will back you up 100. You will have someone that will teach you and educate you to be the better stuff that you will be, especially if you're going to be in like a tech role like me. And you'll always have someone that will communicate the way that I like you communicate. So, you know, if you want a place that will make you feel the way that I feel right now, then look no further and join Xero, because, you know, it will be the hero for your journey. Hey, let's go. Ooh, yeah, so come through and really, honestly, not just Xero, come through to any tech company. They always say they need you. They do need you because we all need you, and we need to fill that gap. Because honestly, the more the better for our people too. Fifth time.
Oh, thanks so much for the BC throw. Wow. Kiriana, how about you? In one sentence, why should students apply for your organization? Oh, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, there we go. There we go.
I muted it. Well, I think you guys should work for Fulton Hogan. When I first started at Fulton Hogan, I was only a little girl. So being at Fulton Hogan, well, I've always had that like whanaungatanga environment, and I feel like I've grown up here as like a little girl, really. And they've always opened their arms to me. And one thing, I didn't aspire to be a civil engineer. So I wanted to be a dentist or something. But anyway, I'm here now, and it's funny that down the track, I come back to Fulton Hogan, and I aspire to be a civil engineer. And being Māori and a female in this industry, you don't see many at all. So it's really like, it's really amazing to see other Māori female out there, but I'd like to see more people come into this industry and aspire other Māori and Pasifika people to do the same thing. Because at the moment, this is the way, like many other pathways, this is the way, this is a great opportunity to start your career, and this is the way New Zealand's going with construction as well. Everything, civil engineering is problem solving, so we're always problem solving. Everything needs to be upgraded, and yeah, so come to Fulton Hogan. You'll be invited with open arms, and yeah, enjoy the whanaungatanga here.
Awesome, love that. Just conscious of time here. As I said, I wish this could go longer, but I might wrap it up there. I saw a bunch of awesome questions come through from the students and from everyone who's attending this session. So hold on to those questions and ask when you backtrack and start to visit the employer booths. Ask those questions there, and they'll be more than happy to answer all those awesome questions you're posting through into the chat. In saying that, I just want to thank you, all of you, for joining the session, and a big shout out to Marota, Aotearoa, May, and Kiriana. You guys have been absolutely awesome. I've loved the session so much, and thank you for your awesome answers. I hope all the students got a lot of value out of this. Ngā mihi.